Peter, don't be late again tonight. Hello? Hello?
I'm sorry.
Why? Why? Do you hear me? Leave me alone!
Mom! Mom! What is it, Mom? Are you all right?
I'm okay. It's nothing, really.
You're almost hysterical. What is it? Mom!
Nothing.
I don't like the way you sound. I'm coming over. I'll be there in 15 minutes.
No, Lori. It was just another one of those prank phone calls, that's all.
That's all? Is Peter with you?
No, he's still at work, but...
I'll be right there.
Lori...
No, you're wrong, Liz.
But Jeff...
No, and don't do it again, please.
May I say something now, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry for yelling.
All right. Just let me explain what happened. Mrs. Schaefer called me this morning just as I was about ready to go out the door to remind me about the PTA meeting tonight and that I was supposed to bake 2 cakes. What was I supposed to do?
Your place is at the bookstore with me.
I know, but this is something that I had to do, and it's not like I'm really needed at the bookstore anyway.
You just summed it up right there, didn't you?
Oh, Jeff, I didn't mean that the way it sounded.
It's not the point, whether you meant it or not. Fact is, you're right. You weren't needed at the bookstore. I wasn't needed at the bookstore either.
Didn't anyone come in today?
Dave Phillips.
Oh?
I wish I had his confidence about life.
What did he have to say?
Maybe God has something else planned for us. Maybe bookstore wasn't right after all.
Jeff.
I don't know. I'm so full of self-doubt, Liz. Maybe God's not in any of this. Maybe I'm just kidding myself.
Jeff, stop it. That is no way for you to talk.
Yeah, well, what am I supposed to make out of all this, huh?
Well, you're going to give up just like that?
I've been this route before, Liz. Remember? I'm an expert at knowing when to bail out.
You mean you don't see any difference between the bookstore and selling office supplies or any of those other jobs
That I couldn't
you...
keep? That's what you're going to say, isn't it?
No. I don't know what to think, Jeff. Honey, few people's lives have been touched by God the way ours have been. I was just afraid the way you were talking that you might throw it all away.
I really don't know what I want. How can you even say that?
Well, let's pray together for guidance.
Hello?
Nancy, is that you?
Miriam?
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, for a moment I didn't think it was you.
Well, who else would be answering my phone?
Oh, well, what I meant was it didn't sound like you. I thought maybe we had a bad connection or something.
Well, you're coming through loud and clear. So what do you want?
Oh, well, actually, I'm just calling for Daddy.
Charles. How sweet.
Yes, yes. Daddy wants to know if 8 o'clock is all right for dinner tonight.
It's funny, he didn't mention dinner earlier.
Oh, well, you know how Daddy can be.
Yeah, he's such a devil.
Well, is that all right, then?
Well, I did have some plans. Oh, why not? Your father is such a hard to resist.
Oh, really? I wouldn't know.
So where does he want to meet me this time?
The Greenbrier room.
What? No, look, not again. You tell him 3 times in one restaurant is no way to treat a lady.
But, Nancy, what?
No, I mean it.
Okay, so what shall I tell him?
You tell him if he wants to take me out, it'll have to be at the Captain's Cove.
Captain's Cove.
I certainly hope that's a business.
Yeah, okay, that'll be just fine. 8 o'clock. Goodbye. Yes, Daddy, matter of fact, that was a very important prospective client.
Wonderful. I wish I had time to hear about it, but I just don't. Where? Here's what I need. As you can see, I'm pressed for time. I have a meeting with Harold Webster in his office, and it should be a long one, so don't wait up for me. And if anybody wants to reach me, you don't know how, unless, of course, it's Nancy.
There's no need to worry about that, Daddy.
Oh, Gene, I thought you'd never get here.
Not sure I am. I never knew there was this much cardboard in the world.
Oh, you can thank Leon for that.
Another reason for me to dislike that man, huh?
Now, Gene, if you're going to be nasty, you can just turn around and walk right back out that door.
Well, Mom, I would if I could find my way back out to the front door.
Gene!
Mama, this is ridiculous. You mean to tell me that I'm gonna have to live out of a box until we move?
Well, is that the only thing that concerns you, how much it inconveniences you?
And Jimmy?
Oh, I don't see any Redlands going hungry or not having something clean to wear.
Oh, yeah, well, what about a chair to sit on or something
Oh, did you
around
hand me
here?
that chili powder over there?
Oh, gosh, all right. Hey, this is amazing here. I mean, if you can accomplish this much in one day, I mean, don't tell him what you do in 29 more.
29 more? What 29 more?
Well, I called the bank and I talked to the man there, and he told me.
Hallelujah! I knew it! See, I told you. You have to have faith, son.
Yeah, if I had it, Mom, I don't know if it could match to anything like this.
Oh, I didn't start a moment too soon. Oh, you know, you can bellyache all you want, but a body can't be too organized.
Yeah. Hey, Mom, you don't suppose that through all this organizing that you made any thoughts about dinner?
Oh.
Not this again.
Let's see now if I can just get this packed up right now. I'm gonna have to take your
If I have to eat Dixie Doodle chicken for 29 more days, I'm gonna move, all right. Right to the hospital for treatment of terminal indigestion.
And then we can kind of work on the linen. Take that.
What? Calm down, it's only us. Oh, Lord, Ben.
Sorry, we got here as fast as we could.
The door was locked. That's not like you. I don't know what's like me anymore. Haven't you eaten yet? What? Oh, I was going to start to fix something, but I can't.
Mom, you have to eat something. Look, you two sit, and I'll go get you something.
Lori, please don't bother for me. I'm not hungry.
Well, it'll only take a minute.
Lori, please.
Look, let's just start at the beginning, okay? Now, how many calls have there been?
3. No, 4. Well, maybe 4.
And the caller?
A man with a strange, rather frightening voice.
Are you sure it wasn't just a kid pretending to be older?
No, it was a man.
Here you go, Mom.
Terry, has this man said anything obscene?
No, that's just it. He just keeps saying, I'm sorry, and then he hangs up.
Nothing else?
Well, the first time he asked if I was Mrs. Davidson.
Well, that eliminates his being just a chance caller.
You mean he'll call again?
Maybe.
Ben, we've got to do something to stop this.
No, you're right. I'm gonna call the police.
No, don't. I mean, this whole thing is silly, and I feel like a fool for reacting the way that I am. No, please don't.
Look, I understand how you feel, Terry, but under the circumstances, I think it's best. We don't know who or what we're dealing with here. This could be someone very disturbed, and we're not going to take that chance.
The part of George Slaymaker is now being played by Robert Albertia. And those were his exact words?
More or less.
Oh, I don't like his attitude at all.
Well, Charles, you got to remember that our own approach has been, how shall I put it, rather irregular.
Well, irregular, immoral, or illegal, I will not tolerate greedy eagerness. No, 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 absolutely not. Who's next?
Well, this could be worth some $750,000 to us.
That much?
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Well, let's file it under undecided for the time being.
Good.
Now, who have we got next?
Okay, next we've got one Albert Thurmond and Things Unusual Boutiques Incorporated. Current net worth is... Commissioner?
Gentlemen.
Well, hello, George.
Charles?
Well, you certainly have a charming way of entering other people's offices.
Regarding a certain arson investigation concerning a certain Mr. Slate, I think we can safely say that due to a lack of hard evidence and too many uncertain variables, you understand, the case has been officially closed. The slate has been wiped clean, so to speak.
That's the kind of news I like to hear.
That's wonderful, George. That's wonderful.
I must say, Commissioner, I am impressed with your resourcefulness and influence.
My reach will never be too short to squash an insect as insignificant as this person Slate.
Well, I think this calls for a drink.
Huh?
I agree. Still, George, those insects, as you call them, have a way of getting very irritating at times.
Your dealings with Mitch Dunbar, for instance?
Losing that case was an unfortunate circumstance. He just got lucky.
We play in different leagues, Charles.
Well, what shall we drink to?
Well, I'd say, how about removing the last obstacle from Hollister Square?
Here, here.
Try to get all of the jelly out of the glass next time, huh? Cheers.
Cheers.
Now then, for some serious business. I think it's time that we discussed my percentage of Hollister Square.
Miriam, I didn't know you were joining us.
Oh, didn't I tell you?
Haven't you heard that three's a crowd?
Oh, and what's two?
Two's company. Close company, if you know what I mean.
Well, I'm sorry to inform you, but Daddy isn't going to be able to come, so I guess I'll just have to keep you company.
Miriam, what are you doing? Why isn't your daddy coming?
Well, most probably because he doesn't know you're here.
Are you high or something?
Definitely, but not the way you think.
Well, in that case, I think that happy hour is just about over.
Sit down. I promise you'll regret it. Now, Nancy, that kind of behavior just won't do it. Won't do at all.
Just what do you want, Miriam?
It's more what I don't want. You and my father together.
Well, sorry to break it to you, dear, but your daddy has grown up. And big boys can do just what they want.
But Mother and Daddy are still legally married, you know?
I hardly consider that an obstacle.
I suppose not. Not for what you want, at least.
Oh, yeah, and what's that?
Well, he's the big catch, isn't he? I mean, he's the one you've been sharpening your claws for all these years. The other ones have merely been practice.
What's the matter, Miriam? Is Daddy finding coming home to you a little too tedious?
Oh, Nancy, tell me now, when you look at my father, do you see anything other than his bank account?
Yes, I see his pathetic daughter still clinging to his knees, still living in his shadow because she's unable to live on her own.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, my father really loves me. And we have such a very special relationship that he would never do anything to harm it, especially not with a cheap tramp like you.
Listen, I've just had about as much as I can take of the doper.
Wait a minute. I think you want to hear something else before I go. I want you to know that I know all about you and Harold and that phony will. Wait a minute. And I know about your stepmother's real will, and I know you destroyed it.
So?
So, leave my father alone. Or faster than you can bat your little false eyelashes, I'll run down to Mitch Dunbar's office and tell him what I know.
You wouldn't you?
Care to bet your inheritance on it? You know, Nancy, I think that you'll find that the air we carpenters breathe is just a little too heady for those climbing out of the gutter.
Look, sir, I'm just telling you how it is.
And I'm trying to explain the family situation.
Fine. Now, how many times has this guy called?
3, possibly 4.
Possibly 4?
Well, my mother-in-law's not so sure. Look, she's pretty shaken up by this whole thing.
Oh, just between you and me, mother-in-laws, especially widows, tend to be a little closer to the edge anyway. You know what I mean?
Sergeant?
Hey, okay, no offense. You say this guy isn't obscene.
That's right.
And he hasn't threatened her or anything.
No.
He just calls and says, I'm sorry.
That's it.
Sounds kind of polite to me.
Look, if you don't want to help me, I want to talk to someone else.
Has anybody else in the house received these calls or been in the room at the time?
Just a second. Terry, has anybody else heard this caller?
No, Peter's never been here when he calls.
When who called?
Someone's been bothering Mom.
Peter, I'm glad you're home.
What's going on?
We don't know.
No, it's nothing really, Peter.
Well, if it's nothing, then who's Ben talking to over there?
Ben's talking to the police.
The police? Now, hold it. Back it up a second. What's going on?
Some man has been calling me and saying I'm sorry, and that's all.
It's crazy.
You know, I think it's silly the way I've been upsetting all of you like this.
Mom, it's not silly. You're scared and you have a right to be.
How long has this been going on?
Just a few times.
A few times? Now, why didn't you tell me something about this?
I didn't want to worry you. And besides, you've been working so much lately, and I have too, for that matter.
Peter, do you think maybe you could spend a little bit more time at home? I mean, Mom's here alone an awful lot.
Lori, I'm not a child who has to be looked after. And besides, Peter's working was a mutual decision.
Yeah. You think I'd be out if I knew about these weird phone calls?
All right, now both of you, please. I'll be all right.
Well?
Well, I don't want to say this, but there's not much the police can do.
Great.
What'd they say?
Well, since it's not an obscene phone call, then no law's been broken. Can you believe it?
It's not fair.
Now, isn't there anything the police can do?
Well, the sergeant I talked with suggested changing the number to an unlisted one.
Why don't I call for you tomorrow, Mom?
No. No, I don't want that number changed. Scott and I, well, we've had this number since we moved into this house. Now, this man, whoever he is, probably won't even call back.
Ben, I think maybe we should stay here tonight.
No, that won't be necessary.
Hey, don't you think I can handle this? I'm not a kid anymore.
That's right, you're not. We're going to count on you to look after things around here.
Don't worry. I will.
Now, listen, all of you. I will be all right. There is no reason for any of you to be concerned about me. Really, I'm fine.
Carpenter Aaron D.
Whoa.
Hey.
Nancy! Well, what a pleasant surprise.
Charles!
Are you alone?
Yes, but not by choice.
Well, if that's by way of saying that someone stood you up, he's a fool, whoever he is.
That's for sure.
May I?
Well, if you don't, I'll follow you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so glad you came, Charles.
I'm real happy to see you, little lady.
Did you just come from some boring business meeting?
Yes, we did, but that's finished. Now it's time for pleasure.
I had no idea that you two knew each other so well.
Oh, yes, Harold.
We're one of Dial-A-Date's most successful couples.
Well, if you're an example of their clientele, I think I'll go right out and join up.
They're very selective, Harold.
Harold, I really don't think I want to discuss any more statements tonight.
Well, that's fine. I just want to eat anyway.
Well, you do that. I'm very certain that you'll find a suitable place on your way home.
Oh, no, I can stay right here.
Harold, good night.
Good night, Harold. That man has the sensitivity of an ox. What's the matter? You didn't want him to stay, did you?
No.
No, but what is it, Nancy?
Charles, I just had the most horrible evening, and I really need your help.
Well, tell me. I mean, I'll do anything I can.
Well, I don't know if I should say anything. It's just...
Believe me, if there's anything I can do, consider it done.
I was hoping you'd say that because you're really the only one who can help me now.